Happy day after Phantom Liberty launch day. In today's news update, we'll be catching you up on everything in the world of Cyberpunk right now. Going over community reactions to the Phantom Liberty launch, some things you need to know about downloading and playing, a new Cameo, technical and stability fixes that are coming or have already come out for those experiencing some issues, mods, install sizes, Twitch drops, initial player feedback for Phantom Liberty based on the first few hours, and some of the Easter eggs I've found already, so let's get into it. Okay, first up, if you guys missed these absolutely epic launch trailers, well, do yourself a favor and go watch them in their full glory. First, we have the Phantom Liberty launch trailer, which might just be one of the most emotional yet, and even pays homage to the base game's launch trailer with this scene here. It's amazing to see such a drastic turnaround for an IP with so much potential, and there just feels like there's so much magic in these trailers coming from where Cyberpunk 2077 was 3 years ago. The next one is a live-action trailer called All In, featuring Idris Elba, with a cheeky little line at the end here that obviously refers to Phantom Liberty's spy thriller narrative, but also the series of improvements that CDPR has made over time, culminating in the 2.0 overhaul. The team has really chipped away and made something technologically, visually, narratively, and artistically unparalleled. And although yes, every game has its issues and Cyberpunk is no exception, I'm glad we can see the day where it actually reaches for its potential. Player feedback, at least initially, looks quite positive, and compared to some of the memes about Cyberpunk at launch, especially on last-gen consoles, I'd say that this turnaround is one of the biggest in the history of the gaming industry. So far, some of the largest creators are weighing in on Cyberpunk, and for the most part, they're absolutely loving it. There have been a few lukewarm reactions, but I think people who are really loving Phantom Liberty in 2.0 are really loving it, with lots of conversations around if this expansion warrants being a Game of the Year contender, with some journalists even hinting that it might be their favorite RPG of all time. As we all know, the game had a 91 at one point on Metacritic, and is now holding strong at 89, and on Steam 89% of the current reviews are positive, placing it in the very positive category. The base game currently sits at an 86. So I asked you guys on my Twitter how you felt about the first few hours, and aside from the Cyberpunk 2077 Twitter page being a little cheeky, you guys seem to be really loving the more cinematic set pieces and gripping narrative, and I'm with you guys on that. Anyways, let me know in the comments below how far along in Phantom Liberty are you and your thoughts so far. I'd love to hear some early thoughts, especially from you guys who follow the game very closely and are likely subscribed. Okay, next up, I want to share with you guys some of the Easter eggs that I found during my journey through Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. But do feel free to use the timestamps below to skip ahead if you consider Easter egg spoilers or if you want to discover them for yourself. Okay, the first one that I had a really big chuckle with is during a random boss encounter near the stacks in Dogtown. As you progress down this tunnel, you'll be confronted by a Barghest boss. Breaking Bad fans, you're gonna love this one, so I'm just gonna play the audio for you. Is this ringing a bell? Does this sound familiar? That's because this is the same line that Tuco Salamanca delivers in the junkyard with our pals Walter White and Jesse Pinkman during one of the duo's first deals. But that's not all. Obviously, an iconic line in the Breaking Bad series is the "I am the one who knocks" line, and one Barghest member inside the black market can be overheard saying something very similar.
You don't just knock on Barghest's door and join us. Barghest is the one that knocks.
A really cool one that you'll probably stumble upon pretty early on in Dogtown is Marcin Iwinski and Michael Kaczynski in the black market. For those of you who don't know, these are the two who started CD Projekt from humble beginnings back in 1994. These guys even tell the story of CDPR through the brain dances they sell, an amazing homage to the founding fathers of CD Projekt. Next up, we have a really cool one at one of the weapon vendors in the black market. This case is labeled Mr. Wick, and as you approach it, Johnny Silverhand will appear and make a few comments. If you look really closely, it kind of looks like Mr. Wick is a fan of Samurai, and you can see just a sliver of the band's poster. Moving right along, and CDPR has been working closely with Dawid Podziadzo lately, who, if you might have remembered, created the outro theme for Cyberpunk Edgerunners called Let You Down. CD Projekt Red also recently shared a new image of the character Dante Caruso, who uses Dawid's likeness. No spoilers about this character or the quest he's a part of, but it's one of the more compelling gigs that stands out to me in PL, and I think he has a unique look that actually meshes nicely in Night City. I didn't actually know what he looked like before reviewing Phantom Liberty, and then I saw him in one of the Night City wars after the fact, and I had a total Leonardo DiCaprio moment here. So it's nice that CDPR has finally shared this character with the general public. Okay, moving on, I wanted to point out some of the technical hiccups that CDPR is aware of and is actively trying to fix. It seems like for the most part, people are having a relatively bug-free experience, and performance seems to also be in a good place. But there have been some hiccups across both consoles as well as PC, with the biggest issue being more frequent crashing. I've seemed to be crashing a bit more frequently when saving or loading a new save, but CDPR support has released a small update for the Cyberpunk 2077 base game on GOG and the Epic Game Store that addresses this. I'm playing on GOG, so that makes sense for me, and it doesn't seem like Steam is affected by these crashes, which is where I would bet most people are playing from. So hopefully most of you guys are playing the game without these crashes. Speaking of Steam players, mods are automatically disabled for the launch of Phantom Liberty, to prevent issues with the game that are caused by these mods. There have been so many changes to Cyberpunk 2077 that your old mods are just not going to jive with the new version of the game, so Steam and Epic players will have their mods disabled. If you've been busy and out of the loop when it comes to file sizes, do know that you will need to update to the patch 2.0 before you can play Phantom Liberty. Update 2.0 is 33GB on PC, 38GB on PS5, and 52GB on the Xbox Series X and S. Phantom Liberty, on the other hand, is 24GB on PC, 33GB on the PS5, and 38GB on the Xbox. As always, I'd recommend following cdpred_support on Twitter for all the latest updates from the devs themselves on fixes and tweaks that they're actively making over the next few weeks. Twitch drops, let's talk about them. They're also available for watching streamers who are playing Cyberpunk 2077, which to be honest I don't really like because that means massive spoilers for what is a single player story driven RPG. But if you're dying for the NUSA Infiltrator pants, Infiltrator boots, jacket and headgear here, there are relevant start times and end times on screen here that will grant you these unique drops. Purchasing 2 Twitch subs of any tier to eligible Twitch partners and affiliates will give you a unique Yasha sniper rifle as well. I will say I'm not really super pressed about cosmetics, so it's not really something for me to personally get upset about, and I definitely understand that viewership is important from a business standpoint, but it is kinda odd that you'd have to spoil the story by watching a streamer just for these drops. Moving on, we have community events, and the Phantom Liberty Tour just finished their London leg, and surprise surprise, Idris Elba made an appearance at the show. It really does look like a great time. A lot of people from the community ended up going there and getting a chance to play early and have a lot of fun, it seems like. So if you did go there, let me know your experience in the comments below. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the videos. We're currently at 99k, that is absolutely insane to say. We are 1,000 away from 100k, so let's run it up, let's enjoy Phantom Liberty, and I will see you guys in the next video.